Hey fellas, how you doing? Um, Tuesday, I believe it's the 30th. I'm gonna tell you a quick story. I'll show you what we got working with. Look at what the successive 5 or 6 days of rain. Everything's green again. So, how do I say this? I'm gonna be quiet when I go in the house because my mother-in-law's here. So I'm gonna walk through the house out the back door so I can talk to you. My mother-in-law. Well, let me know. Don't let me get you outside. Let me get you outside. Trying to make sure I don't wake her up. My mother-in-law was having a rough time yesterday with a couple of the neighbors. Had some of their young men visiting, and they decided to be very unkind to my mother-in-law, so we went and picked her up. Now I can't carry a gun, I'm not supposed to carry a knife in Juarez, Mexico, but I sure as hell carry a tire bat. Now I don't know what you know what a tire bat is, but I also keep a small Little League baseball glove and a baseball in my trunk of my car, so that I to have that tire bat in there. Anyways, oh, there's a big ass weed. Look at that. Anyways, here comes my remora. Look. Hello, Bella. Hello, smella fella Bella. So, anyways, we bundle my mother-in-law up and bring her here and put her to sleep. But on the way here, we stop at Walmart to get her some of the things that she likes and to make her as comfortable as possible. And I leave to go and get her some flowers. Fuck, I gotta be quiet. Hang on, let me be quiet. Let me shut the doors. Let me shut the doors here. I'm gonna shut these doors. Here, I'll show you what I'm doing. These are the double doors here that lead into where the bedrooms are. So I'm gonna sit you down. And unbeknownst to me, some typical Latina, thug, ghetto Latina started going off yelling at my suegra. I don't know, when you walk through the front doors at our Walmart, right over on this section is the bread section. Then right past the bread section is deli section. Then there are the flowers, and then it opens up into the vegetables, and your first line of coolers are there where they do the hot dogs and cheeses and processed meats and the rest of that stuff. So my mother-in-law is over in the corner, and my mother-in-law is just overwhelmed. This is the second fight she's been in like 2 or 3 hours. And she can't do anything to this girl. So anyways, now I'm going to segue back to where I grew up. I grew up in Highland Park, Detroit, and I am used to and accustomed to arguing like people do in ghetto thug culture. That is the way I will say some crazy shit to you, hoping that I provoke you into doing something so I can squish you into the ground. So in between the time I hear my mother-in-law and I get to her, evidently they had called the 911, the El Paso Police Department, and the security guy, it's called Bronson security guy, comes over there, and he's about as useless as, he's just useless. So the only thing I did at first is I put my suegra, I grabbed her by the shoulder, and I'm looking at it, it's espera, and I just moved her around in back of me. And then I'm looking her in her face. I said, "No preocupa, no preocupa." And then I turned around and faced the girl, the Latina with the big hoop earrings, the piercing, the septum piercing, too many earrings, the tattoo up here, the tattoo that goes down here, the fucking pencil. It just, anyways. And she has a guy with her off to the side. Well, they're facing me, so they're where you guys are looking at me. So there's two people there, and he starts doing, and she's doing the I don't know if you guys, I call it chicken fingers, where they talk and they're moving around, and that doesn't bother me at all. And I think I'm not sure, but I think if you're not used to that type of culture, it can be a little bit intimidating. And it was very rude. I used the same swear words they were using at me. I was like STFU, and the little guy was maybe 150 pounds. So, anyways, I did put my hands on the young man, and I did put my hands on the young lady. And the Bronson security guard told me all I was defending myself. So when the El Paso police officer got there, I don't know why they travel one in a car. I ended up listen. There's a reason I can't go for a ride along with the El Paso Police Department. So no matter what happens, the next 2.5, 3 hours of my life, I'm going to be either sitting in the back of a squad car or down at one of the patrol stations till they're trying to figure out if I got any warrants or anybody's looking for me throughout the system. So they bundled me up as well as the other guy, and I kept telling the little guy next to me, hey man, I can't wait till they let us out together in county jail. I'm going to fuck you up. My swagger's maybe 100 pounds. She's maybe 5 foot tall. She's 76. And the girl, she didn't go to the hospital, but the girl was poking her with her fingernails, and it cut her skin in a couple places, so. I think we're all fatigued, and I live here on the west side of El Paso, off by Franklin High School, and we don't usually have any problems with that. You got to have about $400,000 or $500,000 just to buy a house around here, so that's the kind of neighborhood and area I live in. And every once in a while, these people come through and they're visiting family or whatever else, but. All that to say this, there are times when you can't call timeout in real life, gentlemen, young men. You can't call timeout. You have to practice. All you really need to be physically successful is you need to know how to box. And you don't have to do all of the 8 basic. You just have to know the first 4. Jab, right cross, or right jab, left cross, and then the uppercuts, and then a hook. Throw a hook in there, so 6. But it's just, my mother-in-law doesn't deserve that, and the difference is, anyways. So, I have a new court date. They hung something on me. I can't remember what it was. I'm 100% sure it'll get dismissed here. Let me show you who I called, because I was armed when I did that. Let me see if I can find the card in my thing, because I called them. I think it's called U.S. Shield, Texas Law Shield, or something like that. I'll show you the card here. Got the card in my. Anyways, I'll take it out. Here it is. I believe that is it. Texas Law Shield. There's a number on the back. I called, and they were like, "It's all right, sir. Don't talk to the cops." Anyways, they just told me stuff I already knew, but it was just nice to have somebody on my side for a change. And so the only thing my point of all of this is you're going to be, and I think it's going to be at least 8 violent encounters in your life. And I'm talking about when you're an adult. I'm not talking about the little school fights you get into. I'm talking about as you're an adult, because the gap between sanity and insane people is pretty large. And a lot of the people that are crazy don't think that They think if they're loud or they get in your face that you're going to just fold up like a cheap chair and go running off into the corner crying, and that's not that's not how I work. Listen, my nose is all jacked up for a reason. So, anyways, let me get back to the point. Brought my mom home. I call her my mom, my suegra home. She was crying. She was very upset. My wife and I took her over to one of the emergency rooms here and got her checked out. And she was just really shook up because that was the second time in like 3.5 hours she had been basically assaulted. And no, she's in there sleeping now, but how fucked up do you have to be picking on? And the girl was like, she had to be 200 pounds. I mean, she just fat, the fat head, the fat neck, the fat arms. Just just. Now here I did do this, and I purposely moved close enough to her to where she had to touch me in order to do something, or she had to back up. And she only came up to here, so I was definitely getting in her face. And that's when little man decided he had to do something. So as soon as he grabbed me, I considered that assault, and I have to defend myself. And I just looped over his arm, picked his arm up, hyperextended his elbow, had his wrist under here, so I was trying to hyperextend his elbow, and anyways, I got a couple scratches on the back where she dug her nails in, but that's. And my wife just stays out of it. All my wife was concerned about is getting her mom and protecting her mom. So she pulls my mother-in-law out of there, and I just can't tell you. I maybe got home last night at 12 o'clock, and the cops didn't drop me off. I had to get up. Anyway, it's not fucking matter. I can't even tell you. They're fine, and I'll give them what you're required to do here in Texas is I have to give them my my license to carry as well as my driver's license, and I don't have any problem doing that. So, anyways, and one of the guys, by the time everything figured out, there were 4 of them. So 3 of them were with me, and one of them went back to run my information. He came back, and he already had the handcuffs on. I said, "Sir, you're coming with us." And at that point in time, if I'm going to be arrested, I'll tell you this: you don't talk to the police. We don't talk to the police, because you can say something that can be misinterpreted later in court. You have to. I always tell them this, and I was told you have to tell them this. Officer, no disrespect, but I'm going to remain silent. I'm going to invoke my rights to remain silent. And I'm not answering any of your questions, and I don't want you to think I'm being rude. I'll comply, but all this stuff, and I just won't talk to them. You know what they have to do, because they have to put one handcuff here, in back of me, and then they connect them together. So 2 sets of handcuffs to get me in there, and then I don't fit in the car anyway. And then they bring you in and they put you in this little cell and they chain you to the wall. I have a lot of friends in the El Paso Police Department. I don't call any of them. I'm not trying to fuck their lives up because I decided to do what I decided to do. That's not their fault. That's not how I roll. But I tell you what, man, if you think you're going to pick on my little suegra, and nothing's going to happen to you, well, I think I'll be, what did the guy tell me? I'm going to be charged with mutual combat with the guy and some type of simple assault against the woman. She claims she got smacked in the head a couple times, but I don't remember seeing that. I'm sure there's cameras in Walmart, so it is what it is. All that to say this. You have a set of skills in your life as men that are called perishable skills. You can, as soon as you teach yourself how to box, you can shadow box. It doesn't cost you anything. Push-ups don't cost you anything. Staying in shape, going for a walk doesn't really cost you anything. Doing deep knee bends, doing a fireman's carry, doing push-ups, sit-ups, leg lifts, all that kind of stuff's calisthenics. It really doesn't cost you anything except time. But I will say this, one of your jobs, primary jobs as a man, is to protect. And I'll live with and deal with the fallout of what happens, but I don't ever want to see that look of disgust or disdain on my wife or my Sugera's face because I chose not to help him out. Do you know what I mean? All right. Hope that makes sense to you. I probably get my hair moving around. All right. Love you guys. Stay safe and healthy. Take care of each other if you can. And if you can't, take care of yourselves. Yes, of course I'm going to make her breakfast. Of course. I love her. Love my Sugera. Like a 4-inch G-string from West Texas, El Paso. I'm out of here.